Yeah, I
This is
know.
tough
I'm on
stuff.
Zoom.
And I'm
I'm
not
on
even
Zoom
one of the
call.
people who's really, in trouble, but
Oh, we're on YouTube now, so.
oh,
Okay.
it's just a tough time for a
Yeah,
lot
It
of
really
people.
is.
I think we're waiting for Frank and Stefan.
Yes, I think those are the two.
It's not 2:00 yet. I don't think
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should be
We have
recorded
another
before
minute.
2:00.
Yeah, we have another
It's-
minute.
Yeah, it says live on YouTube. I don't know how we can,
Okay, we're good.
yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see, view stream on YouTube.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Yeah, I just went to YouTube to see it. It's interesting.
Uh-oh.
It's a couple minutes behind us.
Oh, is it okay? Let me see if I can email Frank. Did he give us his number? Cell number?
I think so.
Okay. Let's see here.
I'll call his work number that I have.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want me to share his contact information, Paul?
I might have it. I'm looking in my emails now. I know I could probably.
What's your cell there? Actually, I might have you.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to put everybody's in my.
I got a recording from his work number. I'll try another one.
Okay.
Something I have is mobile.
Just emailed it to you, Paul.
Okay. Oh, his
Contact information.
Hi, Frank. This is Ron Evans. We're about to start our gaming meeting. This is Ron Evans. We're just about to start our gaming authority call. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that.
got in touch with him.
I think it was Jonathan that sent a link like last Thursday. Excuse me? It was. So you're good? Let me just confirm that it was from Jonathan. It was just emailed back and forth last Thursday that the last email had the link.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm looking through.
I just sent it to him again.
Oh, okay.
I sent it to Frank. Should I be sending it to somebody else?
I think that's Frank's daughter I have on speakerphone now here
Oh.
too.
Yep, hello.
No, the link is from John Becht, Becht.
And I just sent it again.
Okay. Francis just sent it again.
And I can't find Stefan.
That just came in. I know, but it's not in the top email. There's like a whole bunch of emails. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, because I forwarded. It was sent on the 10th at 3:02.
Oh, there it is. Here we go. I see Paul. No, I don't. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Well,
I hear you.
so I could hear him on the phone, which I think he just hung up. Are you there, Frank?
Frank is here. We can see him.
Okay, great.
He's on mute.
Okay.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Yes,
Wonderful.
we can hear you.
Is everybody
Thank
else
you.
turn the other way?
Don't worry about it, Mona.
Okay.
Thank you also. I apologize.
No problem.
Okay, Frank?
I think we
Okay.
have everyone here. All right, so good afternoon. I call the meeting to order at 2:05 p.m.
Is Stefan here?
Yes,
Yes, do you see him?
he's here.
Well-
We're all here.
Can you do a roll? I don't know if we have to do a roll call individually, but we're all here. I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Is that my job as a secretary?
Yes, just for attendance.
Yeah, I see Paul, I saw Doreen, I saw Francis, I saw Frank. Stefan, are you here?
I am here.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. That's all of
Do you
us.
see him on the Zoom?
Yeah, I did there
Okay.
when he answered.
All right, so you've all received the minutes for November 16th, Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority meeting. Are there any questions or corrections to the minutes? Like to make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Approved? All those in favor?
Approved.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
All right, at this time, we'll open it up to the public. I believe there is access via the phone or Zoom for public remarks concerning.
Paul,
Yes,
John Lichtenstein asked that I make the following announcement concerning public comments.
sure.
Public comments must be submitted with the same information that is requested at a public meeting, including the person's name and address. Emails can be sent to publiccomment@co.delaware.pa.us. If you do not have access to email, you can call in your public comment at 610-891-4931.
Okay, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Okay, John, I recognize John here on the line. Do we have any public comments from email or from phone? And I'll announce the agenda and then I'll ask for if there are public comments again. The agenda for today is call to order, roll call, motion to approve the minutes, public remarks, treasurer's report, old business, new business, public discussion. So there'll be another opportunity for public discussion and then an adjournment of this meeting. So concerning the agenda, are there any public comments? Okay, we will proceed. Treasurer's report.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
It's the most important thing that happened since the last time we met is that we did open up our bank account. What an exciting time that was at TD Bank branch right there in Media. In front of me, I have the high packet. Pretty seamless process. We opened up a checking account that's interest bearing, believe it or not. Frank was kind enough to open the account with 10 whole dollars. And I've downloaded the app, so I have access to peek into the account at any time. The account still contains our $10. Hopefully Frank can give us an update on what needs to be done to get the existing money that's sitting in the county coffers into our account. The other thing to be made aware of is that we're going to be, what's the proper word, dual signing. I'll have to sign, as well as Paul, on any checks that we send out. We have 3 starter checks. We're going to wait until the money gets into the account to order the checks with the 2 signature lines on them. But if in any case we have to write a check, the first 3 checks will suffice and we can both write our names on the same line. More than likely, the first check that we will be writing will be the $10 back to Frank so he doesn't get mad at us. And that's pretty much it from the treasurer. Frank, we have any update on when that's on our way?
As some of you may or may not know, it was shortly after opening that account that I tested positive for COVID. I actually ended up in the hospital for a little while. I have not been able to arrange for the transfer of the money from the county to the treasurer and to our account, but I hopefully can arrange that tomorrow or early next week. But I just have not been able to get it together to do it.
I'm glad you're back, Frank.
Yeah, glad you're.
Hope you're
doing
feeling
better.
much better.
Yeah.
Actually, I am. Thank you.
Take your time.
Okay.
Are there any questions for Stefan concerning the treasurer's report? I guess once we get some funding into the account, we'll have a breakdown of the deposit account that we can send out to the board, to the authority, that you'll all be able to see the accounting for the money, for the revenue and disbursement. All right, let's move on to old business. So at the last meeting, we discussed developing a mission, and we also discussed looking at kind of defining economic development. So I wanted to kind of open it up to the floor for ideas as far as a mission for the authority. If you guys want to contribute anything towards us crafting a collaborative mission statement.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking of something general, like our mission is to make grants to further economic development and community development within Delaware County.
Okay. Economic development and community development in Delaware County.
Is our
Yeah.
mission broadly about Delaware County, or is it more about the communities around the?
Can you clarify that? What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't think it's broader than Delaware County. Do you mean more specific than Delaware County?
Mhm.
What specific area were you thinking?
So I'm thinking geographic. So the funds are from Harris. Are they from Harris?
Yes.
Yes. But the fund, from what I understand, is the funding is tax revenue through interactive gaming, which is gaming through the web, I guess. I'm assuming that people can play the games in any location. I don't know if they physically have to be in Harris.
Okay.
So I think the revenue is being funneled through Harris and then dispersed into the county.
Hmm.
Any other comments or ideas? I have one I can share, but I wanted to leave it up to I wanted to open it up to to the authority board.
Now, why don't you go ahead and share yours?
Okay. The mission of, and I'm just using the acronyms, DESIGRA. The mission of the DESIGRA is to benefit the quality of life through the disbursement of funds via grants to support economic development, municipal emergency first responders, and nonprofit organizations in Delaware County. So I took some, you know, Ron had some aspects there that we kind of shared together. I just expanded.
Could you say that again?
Sure, and I'll say it slower. The mission of the DESIGRA, DCIGRA, is to benefit the quality of life through the disbursement of funds via grants. I probably could have chatted it to support economic development, and I can do that in a second. Municipal emergency first responders and nonprofit organizations in Delaware County. I can put it in the chat.
We probably can just, our mission is to do that latter part. We're making grants as the tool we're using to achieve that mission.
Right.
So we may not need to include that little clause there about making grants, but I'm very comfortable with that set of purposes. It's broad enough, gives us a lot of leeway. It's going to make sense to the average person who reads it. I'm just questioning, the only reason I'm questioning the geographic reach is that, what do you think the expectation of the community is? Is the expectation of, if you were to read about this, would you have assumed that most of the money was going to go into nonprofits in the southeastern part of the county, or is it the charter that says it's for the county as a whole, and therefore that's what we're adhering to?
That's my understanding, Francis, that it's a Delaware County specific initiative anywhere in the county. I would probably use the phrase more like vulnerable populations or vulnerable citizens or something along that line, but it's my understanding that it is for the entire county, not just a specific geographical piece of the county.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was looking at the charter and the other founding documents, I kind of read it was for the entire county, because I think that there's economic and community development opportunities throughout the county.
That's my understanding too.
Okay.
And obviously, making a grant, it's not going to apply to everybody in the county equally, but yeah, our mission is, we can help people throughout the county, help economic development throughout the county or wherever in the county.
Yeah, I don't know if we can say specifically, a certain portion is earmarked for a certain geographic. Is that something that you would like to propose, Francis, or consider?
No, I mean, I'm comfortable with saying Delaware County as a whole. I just think the reality is, if we're given a choice between investing in an economic development project in a very affluent township versus in a very low-income township, are we going for the low-income township? Because if so, I'm wondering if we should be clearer that that's what our mission is to address economic inequities, or do we want to just leave it very general and then just make those decisions as they come along?
Well, Doreen had some words that we might be able to amend this mission with, if everyone's comfortable with that.
I just used the the wording, vulnerable populations, vulnerable populations, I'm sorry, get it out.
Okay.
Because
There's
really,
another, yeah,
because really depending on where and what the funds will be used for, an organization might apply for what we might consider an affluent area, might be where the location is, but the money might be used for some other place.
mhm.
So I don't know if we want to actually pigeonhole ourselves into something like that. I think I would rather read the applications and then make it, and then us as an organization, as an authority, then make that decision.
Okay. The only change I would suggest is instead of vulnerable, use under resourced. It's the
Oh, yeah, I've
sort of
heard.
modern way
Yeah,
to,
okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm on another board and I've heard that it's gone from disadvantaged community. It's, you know, it's been a transition over the
Under-resourced.
years. Disadvantaged communities, under-resourced.
Yeah.
All right, so where would you, Doreen, where would you suggest that we put that in this mission?
Probably at the very end.
All right, so, and nonprofit organizations in Delaware County.
Or maybe
That serve
Underserved.
the populations.
under-resourced populations in Delaware County.
Yes.
Yes, that sounds good.
So that would read the mission of DSIGRA is to the mission of DSIGRA is to benefit the quality of life through the disbursement of funds via grants to support economic development, municipal emergency first responders, and nonprofit organizations.
See, I think it gets tricky right there with the emergency responders, because
Yeah, how would you?
there could be a affluent community that just has a need, you know, in that emergency response area
Okay.
that doesn't fit into that, I guess, where we're trying to draw it. But then again, it does have a lot to do with how we word, you know, the grant itself. But
Right.
I think the overall thing is everybody's eligible to apply throughout the county. I think that's going to be a general rule that we'll have. And, you know, when I just think about communities, you know, in need, definitely economic development applies, definitely, you know, nonprofits can apply. It's just that the tricky area of emergency services. I can see an affluent district just saying, you know, our firemen need boots. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. And, you know, we'd be hard pressed to say, just because it's, you know, Chad's Ford, you know, you guys can afford boots, where maybe a Alden couldn't. Those type of things.
Would you change that? I put that because I think the charter,
yeah,
it had like municipal police and public safety, or it's had something like that. So I was trying to make it more inclusive, because some of the ambulance companies and fire companies are nonprofit associations. So I was just trying to make it more inclusive, not to just be government. But I don't know if ambulance is considered municipal or not.
They're
It's
not
emergency
generally.
service.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
They're not considered municipal?
I would be surprised if we would get,
There's so many private companies that do that.
yeah, who wouldn't be eligible to apply anyway, because they're not
Right.
not-for-profits. And increasingly, ambulance services aren't even part of health systems.
Okay.
You know, they're tend to be privately operated. I would just caution us. I mean, I think it's fine to leave everything flexible initially,
Okay.
but we're not going to have a fortune to play with. So, and the reality is that Chad's Ford the more affluent communities really are not going to need to, they're just not going to be able to compete against some of the communities that really are struggling with their first responder organizations. And that's going to be one of the principal criteria that I would assume we're going to end up looking at is this a community that can afford the services that they're applying for or not? And if we're going to err on the side of poorer communities, then we're almost making the more affluent communities waste their time on a proposal that isn't really going to compete. But we won't know that until down the road.
Right.
So, when we see who's really applying.
So I'm trying to figure out where, because Ron was saying put underserved after, were you
Quality
saying
of life.
after nonprofit, or where were you saying?
Mission-
Yeah,
The
right
mission
before,
is
right before Delaware County.
Okay, nonprofit organizations in underserved communities in Delaware County? Is that how you would do it?
Benefit the quality of life through. So we're going to take out through the disbursement of funds via grants, because that's the way we do our business. It's not our mission.
Okay, so we could say just
The mission,
via grants, or,
is- I would just leave that out completely, because it's the
Okay.
way we do business. It's not, our mission is not to make grants.
okay,
Our mission
Our
is
mission is
to
to
invest
benefit.
in these,
okay.
invest in the community.
All right, so we're taking out
Um,
through the disbursement of funds via grants. That's going to come out?
No,
So
we're dispersing funds, just not.
But
through
that's
grants.
not our mission.
Okay.
It's the way we do our work. It's not the mission
No.
per se.
I think what we're trying to settle on is the mission of
Right.
SIGRA to benefit the quality of life through the disbursement of funds to support economic development. Is that how you want it to read, or you want to take the disbursement of funds?
I would take out the way we do our business,
Okay.
because it's
I
not
got
our mission. Our mission is to
benefit
benefit or
rather than-
improve the quality of life
to support
of
economic
Delaware
development.
County communities. Or our mission is to improve the quality of life of Delaware County communities by supporting economic development, by supporting projects focused on economic development, municipal emergency first responders, and nonprofit organizations, with an emphasis on, so here's another idea.
Okay,
Have the mission be about improving quality of life in Delaware County, and then we do our work by
right.
making
So like a
grants
like a
to
two-sentence.
nonprofit organizations in Delaware County, investing in economic development, municipal or emergency services, with an emphasis on vulnerable, under-resourced communities.
Okay, so could you type that?
Yeah, no problem. The mission of the DC.
That's why we're using this. This is just a draft. So
Yeah, I like
Mhm.
using
We're
chat. It's a great idea.
Yeah, we're brainstorming. You're improving upon our ideas. We're all improving upon the other ideas. And I've seen two-sentence missions before. I've seen paragraph missions. but
Yeah,
we
and
need to keep it
racism. That's
short.
my favorite one. That's the YWCA. The mission of the is to improve Delaware County's communities. By investing in economic and community development.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I think
Emergency.
economic and community development kind of, includes, municipal emergency responders and nonprofits, but that makes that later
Mhm.
part redundant.
So you're saying take out the first responders and the
Nonprofits.
nonprofits? Because we can include that as groups that are eligible in the grant application. Without putting it in the mission statement. I understand what you're saying, Ron.
All right, this is one long run-on sentence.
All right, so
See what you think of this.
all right, the mission of the DeSigra is to improve the quality of life of Delaware County's communities by investing in economic and community development, emergency services and first responders, and nonprofit organizations with an emphasis on under-resourced communities in the county. Maybe we could just do emergency services instead of emergency services and first responders.
Sure.
I think that's inclusive, right? And that includes nonprofits as well as municipal. I think that would be understood.
What else would people like to add or take out or turn around or?
And I think since we already mentioned Delaware County, I don't think we need to put in the county.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
I tend to be very wordy.
That's all right. I like it. I like it.
Is under-resourced have a hyphen in the middle, between the two R's in the middle?
I don't recall
I
seeing it
don't
that
think
way.
so.
Stefan,
Let
you're
me-
the
let me-
English.
I'm sorry, let me play devil's advocate a little bit. Why can't the mission statement say the mission of the, is to improve the quality of life of Delaware County's communities, period?
Mm-hmm.
Do
And then
do
we can say
have
we
to have
do-
all the other stuff in there. That's going to be in the work that we actually do.
Exactly. So how's
I think
this?
the mission is just
We
mission.
accomplish our mission, or we work towards our mission. We accomplish our mission by investing in, and this is like, here you go. See what you think of that.
The mission of the DeSigra is to improve the quality of life of Delaware County's communities. We accomplish our mission by investing in economic community development, emergency services, and nonprofit organizations with an emphasis on under-resourced communities.
That I like that.
Or how about on our under-resourced neighborhoods? So we don't say communities like 3 different times.
I'm not
You
that.
like that?
Yeah, that's fine.
No, I like communities better than neighborhoods.
Yeah,
I think communities to me is much more broader.
Right.
So now I'm going to throw another slight monkey wrench into work.
Okay.
Is our mission to improve the quality of life of Delaware County's communities, or is it to improve the quality of life of the people living in Delaware County's communities? I don't know, maybe it's quality of life of Delaware County.
I think it's quality of life of Delaware County.
Yeah, so get rid
Because
of communities and
the people can come and go. Our focus to me is on the actual county itself.
Right. The residents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Delaware County residents.
Yeah.
quality of
How's
life
this?
in Delaware County.
How's this?
The mission of the DeSigra is to improve the quality of life in Delaware County. We accomplish our mission by investing in economic and community development, emergency services, and nonprofit organizations with an emphasis on under-resourced communities.
Okay,
Boom.
now-
That's it to me.
Oh, okay, one more slight change. See what you think of this. See what you think of this.
You're a good typer and you're fast.
Yes,
Well,
she is.
I'm doing a lot of copy and
You're
pasting.
cut and pasting, yeah.
I'm all about copying and pasting. I'm a copycat. We seek to accomplish our mission because we haven't accomplished our mission.
Oh, okay. All right. That's almost visionary to somewhat almost close to visionary as well. It's kind of a combo.
Okay,
I
I'm
like it.
fine.
Motion for this mission statement.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
need a second. Any
So-
questions or objections?
So Francis moves that and I seconded it.
Yes.
Yes. Any changes, additions, objections? Approved. Thank you. Can you make sure that's in the minutes, Ron?
Yeah,
I don't know if
sure.
we can cut and paste it because let me see if I can cut and paste it too.
You can save the chat, you know that,
Oh, okay.
in your own
Yeah, that's what I was
computer.
planning on doing.
Do you- See the 3 little dots on the right after in the message where it says file, and then there's
Yeah.
3 little dots in a box. If you click on that, you'll see it says save chat,
Oh, okay.
and then you can save it at the end of our meeting and you'll have a record in your computer.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Learning Zoom every day.
Mm. I don't think it has any private messages. They don't save
Oh, okay. All
unless you were part of it.
right.
So, yeah, I don't see that. I'm doing this on an iPad, which might be.
Are you
part of
on
the
a
problem.
chat? Oh, wait, are you on the chat, Ron?
Yeah, I'm on the chat box.
So down on the right, see as if you were to start writing something else, it says to everyone, type your message here.
Right.
We look over to the right, see a little box that says file.
No, I see a little arrow to send, but I haven't said anything.
Oh, maybe that has something to do with being an iPad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the iPad works.
So I copied it to my,
Desktop.
Great. Good.
so hopefully I'll be okay.
Okay. All right, the second thing, and I want to be mindful of the time, is I wanted to look at the, how do we define economic development? Because that's a very vague term. And also so I came up with these 4 types of organizations, and I just want to get you guys' responses. And thank you to Francis for sending us those applications from your foundation. That was very useful. And one of the things I found in there, as well as looking at our charter, is 501c3 organization, sponsored by a fiscal agent, a government entity, since we are, since municipal emergency services falls under the charter, and educational entities.
Mm.
Can you think of any other type of organization format or type? That we would benefit under community development or economic development?
Could we, well, it would probably be a 501c3. I'm just thinking of some of the organizations like the Reinvestment Fund or LISC, both local investment, local initiative. I forget
Yeah,
what
I've
LISC.
heard of LISC.
SC, yeah. I'm pretty sure they're 501c3s.
Okay. And are there like youth athletic teams or other things? Would they maybe not have these types of organization levels?
Well, they'd probably be 501c3s, and if they weren't, they could easily arrange to have a fiscal sponsor,
Okay.
like the Urban Affairs Coalition, or like we're a fiscal sponsor sometimes when they just want to pass through and we don't take a fee.
Oh, okay. All right.
If it's something small and simple.
Okay. All right. And what are some areas that the board here considers under economic development? Like what are some areas?
Let's just go back one second, because
Sure.
it might not be a bad idea for us to have a list of all the different 501c organizations and what they constitute.
Okay.
Like 501c4s are advocacy, Kiwanis clubs are in a different category. There's 501c7s. Maybe for our next meeting, we could have a list in front of us with what the parameters are. And Frank, you could let us know what could we give money to and not give money to.
Understood. I'll have a list for you.
Yeah, because there's charitable organizations, there's churches and religious, they all kind of fall under that.
Oh, okay.
Political, so we want to make sure that I agree with you, Francis. We want to make sure we're looking at the correct ones. And we don't want to exclude someone as well.
Right. Or waste someone's time when they're not going to be eligible.
Amazingly enough, religious organizations don't fall into any of the IRC 501Cs.
Right. And they don't have to file anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. But usually they set up some sort of a 501c3 service arm that enables,
Them to
like
get money.
for their food kitchen or, not usually, but sometimes they do. And then they can get grant dollars.
Or they have like economic development arms sometimes too.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Can we move forward? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
Can we move forward to economic development and other services in the public interest? What are some ways that we define that? So I had like education, health and wellness. What are some other areas that we kind of look at underneath economic development?
Personally, I think with the fact that we're not going to have a whole lot of money, I would like us to be a little more narrower than just everybody. I like the 2 that you mentioned. I don't know if there's another one, but I wouldn't want to put like a list of 10 down there because we're not going to be able to to have funds for 10, but I would like us to be able to use our funds really concentrated in getting some things done, so to
More
speak.
strategically.
Was
Yeah.
having an impact, you know.
Right. Okay.
So 3 things I was thinking about in terms of economic development. One is Tony Trueheart's group, Entrepreneur Works in Chester, which helps people get businesses started. That's an economic development effort, and she really never gets the kind of funding she should. So that's one. There's also a Lansdowne Economic Development Corporation that has an artist's home. You know, they not a home, a studio where people have their little studios. It's really pretty neat, and they're actually expanding that. And that's definitely economic development that fits in with that whole strategy Lansdowne has of being an art center. And then in Upper Darby, there's an effort to start a CDC, a Community Development Corporation, and they're in the very initial stages. That's kind of an interesting idea. You know, Philadelphia has CDCs in like every neighborhood. We don't have, other than Tony, she qualifies as a CDC. We don't have those. And yet Upper Darby really should have one. So that's, to me, about economic development, these sort of business incubators that are giving people an opportunity to start a business. They're investing in their Main Street. That's a whole piece. And then, of course, there's the whole workforce development piece. That's a little bit different.
All right. Stefan?
You were going to say something, Paul. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I had a list. I can go through some of these, and you know, like Doreen was saying, maybe kind of concentrate on a few, or like you said, we have limited money, so we can't go to everybody. But I had education, health and wellness kind of lumped together, housing, not building housing, but more, I'm on the board of a housing counselor to help people buy, you know, like first-time home buyers.
Oh, which group is that?
Affordable Centers of Pennsylvania. Oh, in Philadelphia. Yeah. The environment, transportation, career training and entrepreneurship. Then we talked about this at the last meeting, multi-municipalities, collaboration, partnerships, community development. I kind of lumped them all together. That kind of relates to what you were talking about with the CDC. Life skills, financial literacy. I kind of lumped these together, arts, history, and culture. And then the last one was kind of parks and recreation. So I tried to look at a very extensive list, but maybe we can concentrate on a few, or initially, since we do have limited funding. Or if there are other suggestions from other people on the authority, as far as kind of what we look at under the umbrella of economic development.
That's a good list.
Yeah, it's a great list. You know,
I had some time last Saturday.
Yeah. Hey, John.
Hi, how are you?
So it's interesting that you mentioned housing. I think that's an area you just, like a light bulb just went off, because I mean, all of these are incredibly worthwhile. I mean, we could do stuff in every space, but the housing piece strikes me as like a major issue in Delaware County, that there hasn't been the kind of county planning and coordination around affordable housing that is needed. Really needed up in the Upper Darby area, really needed around Chester. I mean, it's a countywide challenge. And I think there's a real concern that with the economic downturn, there's already a homelessness issue, and that's going to grow. And I wonder if that's an area that it might not present us with an opportunity immediately, but I think we probably should really keep it on our radar, because maybe that's a piece where we could really be helpful. Not so much for first-time home buyers, but around the development of affordable housing I don't know if that resonates with other people on the call.
It
Well, you
does,
mentioned-
but like we said, it's so big. I'm just you know, myself and the work that we've been doing in the county, it's just so big. I don't know where we could even begin to tackle it. I guess that would also depend on the application that came through and what they want to do and the work and who they're collaborating with. But I do love your list, Paul. I think it's really very comprehensive of everything that we could touch upon. But maybe we should then maybe vote on our top 5 or our top 3 as a group, and then kind of come up with a consensus of what we think we want to tackle.
Did you get food related food?
Oh, I didn't have
security
that.
type stuff.
I kind of
Food
had,
insecurity.
I guess I kind of had like financial literacy, but I could put food as a different topic. or
Well,
different
that's another
area.
area where there's a lot of opportunity. There's talk about setting up a Delaware County food bank,
Mhm.
you know, a central repository that pantries would all,
Yeah, 'cause
we're
it's
making
really
that one of our
distributed
grant
throughout
making priorities this year. So there could be really some opportunities to collaborate with the county.
Okay, so a lot of them are distributed. There's no real central coordination of them.
Well, there's
There's
coordination
fillabundance.
among some of them,
Yeah.
Okay,
but not all of them.
okay.
I know it's sort of a broad category, but COVID recovery related
Mhm.
activity
Okay.
could be something that we could maybe parse out to something related to something else. But that's
Well,
really a hot button and kind of timely. So
Mhm.
we could just come right in on something that's top of mind awareness to everybody.
Well, why don't I send out this list to everyone because I don't think we're going to solve this today.
No, the list was
Yeah.
great today.
It was good. It was good brainstorm. It's good brainstorming, at least from initially, and I could send this out, and you have some time to reflect on it, and we can come back and share our thoughts at the next meeting. Is that a fair ask?
Well, one question I have is what's being done in the county in the lines of economic development in general? I mean, is there other stuff being done, and should we coordinate with whoever is thinking about that stuff already? Like I was thinking of the Amazon new headquarters thing, and a lot of cities bid on it. You know, did anyone in Delaware County say, "Hey, should we think about bidding on that?" You know, of course, that's just past history. I just mentioned it as an example, but you know, attracting new business to Chester or stuff like that.
Well, the county did bid on that, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a big press event, and Pat Killian is retiring as the director of the Department of Commerce. So I think when the new person comes in who hasn't been hired yet, I think that's when there may be an opportunity for us to, maybe we could secure a meeting with the person and have a conversation with them, and whoever on council will be the point person for that. Who would that be, John? Would it be Elaine or Kevin? Or Brian?
You're mute, John.
I think probably Elaine is probably the best person to go through.
So it might not be a bad idea after that person is hot. Do you know what the timing is on that, John?
No, I have no idea.
But until that person's in place, I think we don't have the same opportunity.
Because they're going to have their own strategy or own mission, or possibly.
Possibly. But they'll certainly be the person developing and implementing it with council. Yeah.
Right. All right, so I'll send this out to the board and look at that, and we'll revisit that at our next meeting. I don't think there's any other. Is there any other old business? Let's move on to new business. Any new business? Francis is thinking.
Well, what is our timing, and how much money will be in our account as of the end of January? And what is the expectation of how quickly we'll move that money out the door? And
I think Frank can give us an estimate on the amount.
Well,
I
we
think
have
it's-
about 43,000 right now, but we're expecting another quarter very shortly.
Another
Another
25,000?
Approximately, yes.
And
So
I
you,
think go ahead, I'm sorry, Francis.
so it's about 100,000 a year?
When all is said and done, yes. We're not quite there yet, but the trend is that way.
And we're taking deposits quarterly, correct?
It has not been facilitated yet, but it will be shortly.
Yeah,
The county,
the
the county
payments from
has
the state
gotten,
are quarterly.
yes, the county has gotten 2 quarterly payments. We're expecting a third shortly. The money the county has gotten is still with the county, and that's what we discussed earlier, to get the money over into our account.
Okay.
Quickly.
And the money comes directly from Harris?
Now, the money comes to the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, believe it or not.
Okay.
So
And
I
so,
think
and so it's our decision what the timing is on how we roll the money out?
that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to propose, we have 2 seasoned experts here. I would like to propose that Francis and Doreen start developing a grant application because of your knowledge in this area, in this space.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to do that. Okay.
Yeah, happy to.
Mhm. And Francis, we'll connect offline and email.
Mhm.
And there may need to be some edits, after we come back from our next meeting, after we discuss the scope of economic development. But you kind of have a baseline of what you can put into the application, especially based on your own experiences.
I think we also should develop maybe a possible timeline as well, what that looks like, depending, since we already know what our meeting dates are.
Right.
We might want to think about putting it in a timeline, at least a general one that we can all talk about.
Do you want to do that at the next, would you suggest that at the next meeting, or do you want to discuss that today?
I don't remember all the dates, but I can kind of bring
When you
a
say
straw
time,
man, so to like when applications are going to be due, when we'll review the applications, or when we're
Right.
doing that whole process. Yes.
yeah, I didn't know if you were thinking of a rolling application status or more like quarterly or semi-annually.
I guess it depends on when the money is, when we have the money available as well.
Okay.
And it could change. We might, maybe after a year, we see how it actually flows, and then we can always change it if needed.
Okay, do you need that information? Do we need to decide that today before you two work on the application, or do you want to?
Oh, no,
leave it open?
no,
Okay,
not
all right.
at all.
So
Two
we'll
separate
discuss,
things.
we can discuss that at the next meeting, the timing of the applications.
Okay.
So if you guys can think about that and have some ideas on that for the next meeting as well.
Sure.
Okay. Any other new business? I'm being mindful of the time. All right, let's open the meeting to public discussion. Do we have any public discussion comments? Or
No
questions?
public comments have been received.
Okay. Anything else before we proceed to an adjournment? Frank, any comments?
No, we decided what our schedule is going to be for next year, and I'll get that to John, and we'll get that in the paper.
Okay. Do we have to have a reorg meeting again in January?
You probably
Technically?
should.
Okay.
Probably should.
That's where we depose you, Paul.
I'm doing a horrible job in these 2 meetings.
Good job, though, Paul.
I'm doing a
Kevin's
good
been
job.
trying to organize.
I'm watching the time limit, so that's good, right?
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye,
All right,
aye.
thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank
take
you.
care.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you, Doreen and Francis, for agreeing to be on that committee.
Our pleasure.
Oh,
It's our
absolutely.
honor.
Okay.
Take
Absolutely.
care.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great, great. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. I just figure out how to get off.
Thanks, John. Thanks, John,
There's
for
a
setting
leave.
us up.
Should be a leave button, Paul or Frank, at the top left corner of your screen. You might have to touch something.
Yeah, I don't know if John's still on. John, are you still here? I'll reach out to him for another Zoom link for the next meeting. Okay, I'm leaving. See you, Ron.
Okay, see you, Paul. Good seeing you.
Bye-bye.
Frank, are you still struggling with how to log off?
I'm not sure I'd use the word struggling, but
So there should be a big button, a red button saying leave somewhere. I see it in the top left hand corner of my screen when I touch my screen, but I'm on an iPad, not a PC. Oh, he's off now.